Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Uh, Welcome to another session of Insights Simplified. I'm your host for today, Neha Jain, Senior Analyst at nasscom. Thank you all for joining us today. Today we'll be talking about our report, which was recently released on 13th of January, which is Work Reimagined: The Rise of Human AI Collaboration. Before I get into the key findings of the report, I would like to highlight why we did the report. So, the key objectives that we followed while we started the report was we really wanted to understand how human AI collaboration is reshaping the ways of working in the tech sector. What are the challenges? What are the solutions that industry folks are doing? And what are the actionables that we have both for the organization as well as the employee? Now, while we discuss a lot of numbers through the presentation today, I would like to uh, do a quick double click on the research methodology. Most of the numbers are survey based, where they are coming from 120 plus HR leaders survey. Also, we did a lot of interviews to cross check the findings that we received in the survey across technology industry. And when I say that, it means we have spoken to IT services, integrated players, BPM, ER&D, even product companies. We also have some of the numbers coming from the secondary and other nasscom reports as we go through the detailed report. Now, quickly, this is how the overall report looks like, and we will, considering the limited time we have at hand today, I'll talk about the key messages from each of these sections, and you can look at all the details that you want from the report. It's a free to download report, and please feel free to look at the report for any details that you need any further. Also, we'll leave some time for Q&A towards the end. So please feel free to drop your questions in the chat. Now, we have seen a lot of change in terms of work and workforce, but the overall hiring has also shifted with so much AI coming into picture. What we have seen in the industry is that the whole focus is shifting from just execution to outcome and capability. And gone are the days when organizations used to focus on larger headcounts, but the focus when it comes to hiring today at all levels is focused on capabilities. So people are focused more on skills. Is it getting the right set of ROI? There is an increased focus on the whole way of trial to hire model, where people want to test candidates on internship. So this is more related to fresher hirings and internal entry level hiring that they do. Also, they would start with contractual hiring and maybe then go for permanent sort of employment. So that these are the new trends that we are seeing. So as I just mentioned, at entry level, the focus is shifting from mass to narrow hiring. And the expectation that the companies have is that today candidates have to be job ready. I mean, gone are the days when companies used to spend 3 months, 6 months into training. So that's no more the case. Even in terms of the skills that they look for, obviously they want people to be working on new age skills, and that includes both your domain technology and so on and so forth. There's a lot of focus on the kind of life projects that you have done, so that has become very important. On the mid and senior level, earlier there was a lot of role based fit, but today, since the roles are being redesigned, people are looking for professionals who are able to take end to end ownership. That's the new norm. In leadership roles, previously the focus on managing scale, but now it's more about creating leverage, where you also want to see how can you scale capabilities and decision quality. In terms of hiring cycle, there were longer cycles, multiple rounds. Today everybody wants to do everything faster. There's very less time at hand, and here also AI has started playing a critical role. In terms of jobs and skills, we see a lot of focus on multidisciplinary skills, which includes tech, domain, and professional or human skills. In terms of roles, they're gone are the roles which were dependent on one sort of task that you used to execute. Today, everybody wants you to be disciplinary focused. You should know more and more, and you should be open to learn more and more. So that's how things are. Standard job descriptions are no more there. So maybe same sort of job across different organizations could have a completely different sort of a job description. So that's the case that we are seeing right now. Again, learning and development, it has become quite open. I mean, you today an employee can chart out their own learning and development, journey, and it's no more role based. It's more about whatever capability you want to build. Organizations are quite open with that. And with so much new technologies coming in, it is becoming even more important day by day. Now, getting to the numbers, what we saw was that one-fourth of the work that today tech organizations are doing, is done by AI. And interestingly, they are seeing improvement of about 25 to 35%. Now, if you look at KPIs, employee productivity, error reduction, operational efficiency, these are some of the interesting KPIs, cost optimization, and we have been hearing about them a lot. But I think for us, the whole focus on customer satisfaction was the real takeaway in terms of the KPIs. Because, whenever we think about AI and implementing AI, everybody sort of looks at productivity, efficiency. But for organizations, when we spoke, they highlighted that it is not just about implementing AI. Is AI generating impactful results for the clients? That is obviously that remains very, very crucial. And that is something they are measuring internally. Now, while you look at the details in the report, you'll see that what we have tried to do is across every vertical in the tech industry, we have tried to highlight how tasks are defined and how are those tasks being done. So this is just one example of how some of the tasks in software development have shifted. You can find more details on this, more tasks, plus other functions in the technology industry, and see where you find human AI intervention, how things are being done there. Now, what we also wanted to know was how AI agents are being used, and are organizations really using AI agents? I mean, and what we see in terms of numbers is yes, over 95% are either using or planning, and what we see 83% are using it. Now, if you look at what are the top use cases, they still remain, more from an automation or work stream perspective, digital teammates. But if you really want to see, if you really go deeper, then as a role as a thinking partner, or really a digital teammate, these are upcoming emerging roles, while more of the focus remains on automation of work streams and functions. Now, interestingly, when we asked them, do you think AI agents are better than humans? Then most of them said yes. And because they're able to process large volumes of data with quality, speed, and obviously there's a cost factor to it. Now, drilling deeper into the top KPIs, as I mentioned earlier, customer satisfaction, NPS scores, this was the top metric that companies are evaluating. Maybe the kind of leverage that they are getting right now could be lower than employee productivity, cost optimization, but this is one of their key metrics that they are focusing on. Now, if you look at the use cases, then obviously they're using it for predictive insights. A lot of them are using it for software development, automation, and a lot of work on the content and communication side. Now, talking about the challenges, a lot of organizations said that, security, all of us know security, privacy, that's a concern. Integration of AI and AI tools with the legacy systems, that remains a concern. Obviously, with AI, there's a lot of governance issue. What should be used? How much data can you share? All of these remains the top concerns when it's come to AI implementation. There's a lot more that was highlighted, but these were the key ones. Now, interestingly, what we saw was that 40% of the HR leaders said that the workforce lacks preparedness when it comes to, whatever skills they need for the AI age. So that is one of the key reasons why today, there's a lot of focus on upskilling and reskilling across organizations. And this we'll probably see when we talk about how we are solving for this. But before that, because there's lack of workforce preparedness, we wanted to understand that which are the levels of organization employees who are at a risk. So a lot of them highlighted that the junior and the mid-level employees are at a risk of you know being irrelevant because and if they are not able to upskill. So that is one of the key highlights that we got through the report. And the only way we can mitigate this risk is to upskill our employees. Now when we talk about what are the risks for different levels, a lot of organizations and leaders told us that mid-level the challenge remains that they are not able to upskill or learn that faster. They lack adaptability. Now they have legacy skill sets and mindset, and somehow they limit their relevance for future roles. So it's important for them to upskill themselves. There is a lack of acceptance to reverse mentoring. So now this was a surprise, but I think this whole idea of not learning from your juniors is kind of not working well for the mid-level employees. In terms of juniors, I think most of us know that a lot of highly repetitive routine work that interns and entry-level employees used to do today are being automated and done through AI and quite well. And considering the kind of quality that we are able to generate through AI and agents, those standard work is better done through these tools. So that's where the junior level is at a risk. Now, why do I say that, senior level in leadership is not at a risk? Is because the cohort highlighted that, AI can replace a lot of execution sort of work, but they cannot replace thinking, decision intelligence. So that's where, the leadership and senior roles kind of stand out. Now, but while we say this, there is risk for leaders also. Again, where they fail to adapt to whatever is changing. So, as a leader, they have to make sure that they are evolving their organizational structure. They are working on reskilling and redesigning roles. That is becoming very, very crucial. And again, everybody in the organization, including the senior level employees, they have to move away from execution heavy stuff to, more on the skill sets and new age outcome. That's the focus that we have now for employees. Now, looking at the solutions, how organizations are solving for these challenges. So, a lot of organizations highlighted that, they are at an organizational, they are working towards upskilling, reskilling, they are modernizing systems, they are working on security, privacy, and so on and so forth. What HR leaders highlighted in addition to all of this was they are redesigning and adding AI specific roles. So that's an important charter that they are now focusing on. They are reworking at how KPIs will look like in a AI plus human environment. So they are working towards that. They are looking at restructuring the organizations, how the structures will look like as AI becomes part of their workforce. And obviously new ways of working, gig, hybrid, all of that will remain in picture. With AI coming into a picture, there's a lot of focus on skill-based hiring. This we have been hearing for last 2 years, but the numbers keep on increasing, and the focus on skill-based hiring continues to gain preference. For the ones who are not doing it, they still say that, there is a preference for degree, but they are also evaluating skills. So even folks who are only looking at degrees are only 1% or 2% of people across the whole cohort. Now, in terms of skills, what we see is there's an immense focus on hybrid and multidisciplinary skills, and the numbers are clear. Uh, what we when we asked them, to rank skills by levels, one thing that came out clearly across level was, professional skills, which includes critical thinking, logical reasoning. So those sort of skills have become very, very critical. So those human centric skills are becoming critical day by day. Secondly, learning and adaptability. So today, at all levels, what organizations are looking for is how quick you can learn and how adaptable you are. So because today it's AI, tomorrow it could be something else, so you have to adapt to the evolving scenarios in the industry, and that is what organizations are looking for. Now, interestingly, at junior level, they are also looking for some sort of specialization in emerging technologies. Some of that the colleges have also understood, and they are working towards it. Plus, today there is immense opportunity to do it other than what your colleges are teaching you. So you can do certifications, you can attend hackathons, do internships. So there's so many ways today you can learn newer technologies, even if that's not part of the curriculum. And that is something that the organizations are expecting the entry level and the junior folks to do. Also, what they look for is, do you have some other specialization in engineering? So, folks who are into electronics, mechanical, civil, companies are looking for that sort of deeper engineering knowledge as well. Now, as we progress to mid-level, obviously they are looking for emerging technology specialization, but here that converts in the specialization focus also adds some domain knowledge. So whether it is BFSI, some sort of electronics, semiconductor, whatever it is. So that sort of domain knowledge is also expected that you will have it and you will build it. You would have built it by the time you reach mid-level. In terms of, obviously, for leaders, it is the leadership skills, and they are expected to know both the engineering specialization, plus some sort of emerging tech specialization. That is something they also have to build. So that is non-negotiable even at a leadership level. Now, we just mentioned that, restructuring roles and organization structures is becoming important. And when we asked the same question to HR leaders, they said that 50% of them, over 55% of them said that yes, they are kind of looking at some sort of a shift there. And when you look at models, what sort of new structures will come in? So everybody was saying that pyramid will lose relevance. When we discussed this question with the leaders, they said that it just depends on where you are in terms of AI adoption and what sort of productivity gains are you seeing. Plus, some of the HR leaders highlighted that the structure could vary from client to client. Some of the European clients at this stage are not very, comfortable with having put too much AI into use. So maybe, for those teams, we might have a different structure. So these are some probable evolving archetypes that we are showing in the report. But this will vary from organization and from organization to organization, and it will also vary basis, what level you are in terms of your AI adoption and how much productivity gains are you seeing. Now, I think this is one of the favorite topics that both organization and employees want to know. How are we following the work models, whether it's hybrid, whether it's complete work from office or remote? So most of the organizations, they continue to follow a hybrid sort of work structure. 80% said that. But if you look at the number of days in office, that has kind of increased. I mean, what we saw last year, most of them were doing 2 to 3 days, but this year that number has increased to 3 to 4 days. Now, there are a lot of reasons why people are moving back to office in an uncertain world, which needs us to learn a lot, which needs us to be more adaptable, brainstorm a lot, think together. So organizations and leaders highlighted that it's very important that people be in office so that those sort of discussions can be done and we can learn from each other and we can solve together. So that those were some of the key reasons. There are more details in the report, so you can go back and look at the report for details. Now, having said all of this, what can organizations do? So, it's important that organizations today should focus on having a AI implementation plan, but it should be a gradual ramp up. It cannot overnight, you cannot make changes overnight in your organization. So it's important you do a gradual ramp up. But what is even more important that you have your guardrails in place, whatever it's need, whether it's security, governance frameworks, any right set of policies with respect to AI usage, those have to be fixed beforehand. Obviously, when AI comes into everyday work, there is a lot of change that happens, and it's important that companies build that trust among employees. They build that culture of learning so that everybody feels safe and it does not feel that it's a competition that is coming into the organization. Everybody should be happy to work with AI rather thinking that it's a competitive tool that has come into the organization. And I've discussed enough of how continuous learning and skilling is becoming crucial, and a lot of organization we spoke with are focusing on upskilling their existing workforce and restructuring workforce internally rather than getting somebody from outside. So this is something that organizations are doing on the ground, and it is becoming even more important as we progress in a human AI collaboration model. Now, when we talk about what employees can do, I think they should be open with learning AI in your role, whatever it takes. For if you're a coder, make sure you know all the tool, you should learn how to use different tools creatively and so on and so forth. Depending on your role, you should be happy to pick up newer AI tools. In terms of your role, make sure that it goes beyond execution. So that is something that you will also have to work on. You should make sure that you build multidisciplinary skills, and when we say that, it's not only about tech, it's also about the human centric skills, it's also about domain knowledge. So all of that needs to come into focus. Organization today at all levels are more focused on outcomes and not just paper credentials. So the degrees are good, certifications are good, but if you're not able to put what you learned through certification into practice, then I think that's a challenge. So make sure that you do projects, you pick up gig work, and try and put your learning to practice. Learning is no more a one time effort now, it is a continuous job requirement. So that is something you should be open with. And most importantly, what I would say is, be open to role transition. Maybe some of the roles become irrelevant in the current age, but with some plus skills, I'm sure that a lot of workforce can transition into newer roles. I think the bottom line that everybody needs to focus on is a mindset shift. So both organizations need to work on change management. Employees need to focus on new age skills learning. So that shift has to be sacrosanct across employees and organization, and that is what will take us forward. Now, just a quick snapshot of what some of which I've already discussed. And if you are really looking for more details, go and check the report. So we talked about a lot of work being done through AI across functions in the tech sector. We talked about KPIs, we talked about AI agents. Something that I did not mention was in terms of challenges. 55% of the people said that AI generates low quality output. So human oversight remains critical. More details in the report, so go and check that out. But that's an important insight. So it's not only about AI taking over work completely, it's human in the loop will remain critical. What is important is those human needs to get the right set of skills. We talk about lack of workforce preparedness and how companies are focusing on reskilling and upskilling, the risk that mid-level employees and junior level employees have if they don't reskill. So upskilling remains important, building right set of skills remain important. There's an increased push towards working from office, obviously collaboration, learning, because all of this becomes important. More reasons on why companies are calling employees back to office. Go and please check out the report. We talked about the actionables in detail. So, responsible AI, conducive culture, continuous learnings, and the whole focus that employees need to build on, focus on building capability and adaptability. That remains very, very crucial. So, with that, I call it a close.